Alhamdulillah, indeed all praise is due to Allah. We praise Him and we seek His help and forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from our soul's evils and our wrongdoings. He who Allah guides, none can misguide, and he whom Allah misguides, none can guide. We continue to send abundant peace and blessings upon our Master Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon their companions and upon their family. Today we're going to be looking at the 7 categories of man, and specifically how we can find the category of salvation. Now, before Itekaf, I'm going to show you a picture, and I'm going to ask you how many people felt like this picture before coming to Itekaf. How many people felt like this before coming to Itekaf? Falling over. Put your hands up. So I know now this discussion that we're going to have, a lot of people can benefit from it. Now, it's going to be more of a discussion. We've heard a lot of lectures from the brothers before me over the few days that we've had. And we'd like to start firstly by Ustaad Abdul mentioned on Friday that this dunya is like a race. We come into this race when we are born, and we finish this race when the angel of death comes for us. And along this race there are many obstacles and hurdles, like we can see in the picture. Many of these obstacles and hurdles are of 3 certain types: dunya, shaitan and nafs. There's hundreds of obstacles and there's hundreds of hurdles, but they come under 3 specific categories. Now today I'd like you to work in pairs, because I want us to actually come up with the solution together. So the person that's next to you, I'd like you to work with them. If you can pair up, and if you can also turn to page 47, because in the notes section I've actually not give the solution, I've just give how we can, I've actually just give what the categories are. So I'd like you to actually put the solution down yourselves. Now I've left also a clue in the pictures so you can find the solution in your pairs. Now, is everyone ready? Yeah. So the first... Has everyone got a pair? Sufyan? Okay. Yes, please. It should be on the. It could be different in certain. The 7 categories of man should be the title. Is that? Yeah. Page 47, please.
Brothers, can I just request, please only raise your hands when it's question and answer, or when the Ustaad asks or gives permission for question and answers, please.
Now, there's 6 main hurdles that a person faces whilst he's on his journey to Allah. The first hurdle that a person faces is the hurdle of ignorance. Now, who can tell me what they can see in this picture? Sufyan, what can you see?
A man that looks lost on his own.
Okay, what about his clothes? Do you think he's wearing casual clothes or work clothes?
Yeah, casual clothes.
Casual clothes. Yeah. This is the person who does not know the purpose of his existence. There's 2 categories of these people. There's 2 different types. The first type is the people who wander aimlessly through life. They're not aware of their purpose and they have no aims. All their life represents is enjoyment and pleasure. There's the second type as well. They have made their other aims and purposes in their life, and they believe that if they achieve this purpose in their life, then their life is complete. And these are the examples of people who center their lives around money or a woman or their business. They believe that their whole life revolves around this certain thing. It gives you the example of the Kaaba and people who do tawaf around the Kaaba. The Kaaba, the heart is also a Kaaba, and whatever's inside your heart, you will constantly do tawaf around it. So let's say, for example, if money is in your heart. Everything you speak about, everything person that's in your life, it will always surround itself around the money. So, or let's say, for example, drugs is your life. If you see the people who you're around, it'll be the people who you do the drugs with. Or if you, for example, your business is your life, you'll be always around businessmen, going to business seminars, thinking about your business, just looking at your emails all day long, actually visualizing how you're going to go through the next few days and how you're going to actually increase the business. That will be your whole purpose of your life. Now, we've come to this hurdle of ignorance, and many people fall at this hurdle. They've fallen. You can imagine we're all in this race, and outside the people who are non-Muslim, everyone's in this race. Now, people have fallen at this hurdle. So how do we successfully jump this hurdle? Now, I've left a clue in the next picture, and I'm going to give you a minute to discuss between your partners as to how using the clue, how you can actually find the solution yourselves. Now, the reason why I want you to actually look at the solution is because we've seen on the first picture, many of us were stuck in the hurdle. So we're lucky because we had Itekaf to get us out of this hurdle. Now, what would you say is the right reaction for this person who's actually lying down on his stomach? Who can give me an answer? What? Yeah, that's correct. Is get up and run. Try even harder, because it's not about this race ends. As long as you're running in this race, you've finished the race. But if you lie down on your stomach, you've failed. When the race is over, you're going to be classed as someone who's disqualified. Now, we've fallen, but we're lucky because we had Itekaf to get us up and carry on running. But when we go back after Eid, there'll be many hurdles. There'll be Shaitan will be waiting for us. Many of us will be, even the day after Eid, the hurdles will start. But there won't be no Itekaf then. We'll be on our own. So that's why instead of me giving solutions, I like those to think of solutions, and maybe it'll give us the confidence to actually get up or find a way around our problem. Now, as I was saying, we've come to the hurdle now of ignorance. Now, how can we get over this hurdle and jump this hurdle? Now, I've left a clue in this picture. Now, I'm going to give you a minute to discuss between your pairs and come up with a solution. I'm going to ask and see, and we're going to discuss the solution. Bear in mind, the oasis represents salvation. So when a person finds his purpose in his life, then it's as if he has found salvation. It's as if you are going through a desert and you are walking and you come across an oasis. For you've saved your life. So what is the purpose? So a person who's stuck in the life of ignorance, what would be the purpose for him to find? Right, brothers, 20 seconds left. Now, can someone put their hand up? Who's got a solution for me? Who can jump this hurdle? Uncle Ramzan. No, sorry. Uncle Iqbal.
We discussed these two ideas. One, we were looking for water, and then we found the water. The second idea we discussed was that is our life, the way we're living, is whether we have a tazkiyah or we don't have a tazkiyah. We need to go and learn, explore.
Okay.
And that's
Okay, put your hands up if you agree with Uncle Iqbal. Okay, who's got something different? Right, okay, Hamza.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So, as I was saying with this brother here, we were saying that a person needs to embrace the knowledge that's in front of them and just jump in, you know.
Okay, so you mentioned knowledge twice now. Is there any other brother that's got anything different? Who disagrees with Rahman? Okay, sorry.
We saw this person who was walking in the desert and looking for water, and now we see a picture of water, and we were thinking maybe it's an illusion that he thinks that's his aim or goal, but when he gets there, he will see that it's only an illusion, that it's not his final destination.
Rahman's thinking out the box. Completely out the box. Brother Asim, Brother Said.
So what we were discussing was having a reason to get up and run again. So seeing the oasis, it makes you get up. So like the light at the end of the tunnel. It's in our case, as the Ramadan is getting tough, then we think about the food at the end, gets us going, so we get to the end.
Okay, everyone's gone different ways. Okay, now I didn't think it was going to be this difficult. What have you been going over in your halqas with Ustaad, guys? What was the purpose? We've gone overboard. Let's keep it simple. Now, what was the purpose that many brothers I spoke to yesterday, and they mentioned that before coming to this Itekaf, I did not know the purpose of my life. So when a person's found his purpose, what would that be? Now I'm going to actually answer it myself. Oh, actually, Hamza, what?
Once they discover their purpose, I'm looking at the footsteps and I'm thinking they have to walk towards it, and then just, I don't know, it's like a jump in, they get salvation, they get refreshment.
Okay, I'm going to actually give you the answer. I would love to be here all day, but we've not got the time. The answer is the pleasure of Allah. It's quite simply that. So, before the person actually thought in his heart, whatever in his heart was, that was his purpose. For example, money, business. Now the person realizes that his whole life should be about Allah and reaching the pleasure of Allah. So now in his heart, his Kaaba has changed now. Now his whole life is devoted to Allah. So he knows his purpose now. So he's jumped this hurdle and he's carried on running. And now what happens is the person comes to the next hurdle, which is the hurdle of blameworthiness. Now, how many people feel like this when it comes to... Put your hands up if you feel like this sometimes when it comes to praying. I'm going to put my hand up. Now, what do you think this picture represents, Brother Majid? Laziness, exactly. So, blameworthiness. So, these people, they make false claims and they offer lip service. They love to talk about Islam, but they're not willing to implement it in their life. And they want Allah in their minds, but in reality they're too lazy and they've got wishful thinking. They're not willing to go through the pain of sacrifice. They're too comfortable in their life. As you can see, this person, this is like me and Brother Abdul when it comes to Champions League final. We don't want to move, but the reality is that we want the closeness, but they do not adopt the means and they're not willing to pay the price. Now, let's say, for example, you have a millionaire. If you go to the millionaire and you say to him, make me a millionaire, he's going to laugh at you. He's going to say, if you do what I tell you to do, you will become a millionaire. Or, for example, if I go to a doctor and I say, make me a doctor, he's going to say, go to college, go to university, go to medical school, train, and then you will become a doctor. Now, what about Allah? Do we think that we're going to reach Allah? If we have to go through all that struggle and all them setbacks just to become a doctor or just to become a millionaire, What about in the journey to Allah? Are we not going to be going? What do we think that if we just lie down, say we believe, and that's it? So in an example of this is people who talk about Islam, but they sleep at Fajr. They won't wake up for Fajr. Now, we've come to this next hurdle, and we have to get over this hurdle. We need to jump this hurdle. Again, many people are running with us, and they've fallen at this hurdle. But how do we make sure that we do not fall at this hurdle? Now, I've left another clue in the next picture, and hopefully it'll be a bit easier. Now, again, I want you to discuss it in your pairs. I'm going to give you a minute to discuss it.
Just to help the audience think of the type of blameworthiness, think what Ustaad Shaban has said, and think of how what that picture represents in relation to how we come up with that.
Think of the name blameworthiness. So we know what blameworthiness is, laziness is guilt. So what would be the solution for this? These are only clues. The majority of us already know what the answer is. If you can see, you can put the lead picture on. Now, I've given you a minute. Who can give me an answer? Someone put their hand up. Brother Saul.
Sorry. Can I just ask brothers to wait for the mic for the benefit of our worldwide audience, which is listening online?
No pressure. In the picture that you're showing, the man is capable of walking. He's fully capable. He's even got the tools that he needs to do his job, but he's just weighed down by these excuses. So it's not that he's incapable. He is capable. He's just being weighed down.
He's still walking, isn't he?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, mashallah, that's correct. So the answer for this is adopting the means and striving. Like we said, if you want to become a doctor, you can't just go to a doctor and say to him, make me a doctor. And you have to adopt the means and you have to work hard. But you can't, in the dunya you can't achieve anything through hard work, you're not going to achieve it on the path to Allah as well. So we've come over 2 hurdles now, and we're coming to the 3rd hurdle, and many people fall at this hurdle, and it's possibly the most dangerous hurdle as well. And this is the hurdle of minor shirk. Now, I'm going to ask someone, Brother Majid, what do you think? Majid from walking.
Sorry, what was the question?
What do you think this picture represents?
Minor shirk.
Okay, but what can you see in the picture?
Basically, someone making this dunya their world or their god, effectively,
Yeah, okay.
their desires and nafs, whatever it might be, that's the priority in their life. They're effectively worshipping that.
Okay, what about his suit? He looks the part, doesn't he?
He looks the business. There's no denying that.
Okay, and you can see from his hands he's got blood on there that he's willing to do what it takes
Yeah.
to achieve his goal. See, these people, they strive to do righteous deeds and they're very active. They do the dawah work. They're very active. They help the poor. So what's the problem? The problem is that they do it for fame and name. They don't do it for Allah. They're not interested in what they do. They just do it for. They associate partners with Allah as they internally they worship other people, but externally they worship Allah. So if you go to the masjid, you might see someone he's worshipping, and if somebody asks you, what do you think of this person? You might think, oh, he's very practicing, he's very good person, but inwardly you would never know this. So they are after position, power, they're after fame and name, they're after what people think. They are the slaves of Allah, but they are also the slaves of their own egos, as they worship Allah and they also worship people. the thing with these people is that they lose Allah forever if they don't rectify their ways. The reason is because you've heard of the famous hadith, I'm just going to do a commentary on it, about the scholar, the charity worker, and the martyr. The scholar, the group of scholars that will come on the Day of Judgment first, and it will be said to them, what have you brought forth? And scholars will say, we used to teach children for you, we used to practice the deen for you, we used to act upon the knowledge for you, but it will be said you lie. Why will it be said you lie? Because they did not do it for Allah. They did it so people would say, oh, how knowledgeable he is, or what a great mufti he is. And they will be the first people to be dragged into hell. Then it's the second type, the charity workers. It will be said, what have you brought forth? And they will say, we used to feed the poor for you. We used to look after the orphans for you. And it will be said, we used to give all our wealth for you. It will be said, you lie. You did not do it for me. You did it so people would say, what a generous person you are. And they'll be dragged into hell. Then there's the third people who are the martyrs, the people who die for Allah, who give their life for Allah. It will be said, what have you bought? And they will say, we gave our life for you. And they will say, no, you did not. You'd lie. You did not do it for me. You did it so people would say, what a warrior he was. Oh, he died as a martyr. Oh, he did this much. He ran into battle first. They just did it for fame and name. They just did it because to please their own nafs. Now, we've come to this next hurdle, and again, many people have fallen, as you can imagine. So how do we successfully come over this hurdle? Now, again, I've left a clue in the next picture, and I want you to discuss it in your partners. The clue is a person praying in the desert. I'm not hearing any discussions, guys. Now, who's got an answer for this? Can you put your hand up, please? Brother Abdul. Just wait.
Assalamu alaikum. Here we see someone who is showing his devotion and his commitment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It doesn't matter where he goes, where he is, he just keep praying for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah, mashallah. You see, he's in the middle of a desert. Nobody's there around him. He's on his own. Has anybody got another answer? That's not that one. Just.
We were thinking that he was going to post this picture on the Facebook, you know? He knows that he is praying in the desert, but why take a picture of it and show it like...
He's a photographer like yourself. Brother Abdul was right. The solution how to jump this next hurdle is sincerity. When a person's sincere, he will worship Allah alone. As you can see, there's no one with him. He's in the middle of the desert. There's no one to please other than Allah. You see people who fall into this category, they're like actors, and the dunya is the stage and the people are the audience. They only come to life when there's a stage and there's an audience. On their own, they won't worship. They might do 20 rakat nafal when there's people there, or when everyone goes, they might just stop halfway through the namaz and sit down, have a break. Now, we've just come over the third hurdle, and now we come to the fourth hurdle, and this is a hurdle that can be passed very easily, but it just requires a small amount of effort. This is the hurdle of the people who are unknowledgeable. Now, can someone volunteer what they can see in the picture? Brother Kamar, what do you think? Yourself.
He's not got the right tools.
He's not got the right tools, has he?
So, yes, he needs a hammer, but he's using a screwdriver.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got the wood, he's got the nail. All he has to do is have the right tool, and the job will be done. Yes or no? But also, if you look, he's using a screwdriver backward. So he's going to actually damage the tool that he's got as well. So these are people who, they do good deeds, but they lack basic knowledge and they have wrong beliefs regarding Allah. So the good deeds are wasted due to defects in the knowledge and defects in the worship. So let's say, for example, they have wrong beliefs in Allah. Why is that important? Let's say if I pick a verse from the Quran and I come to Uncle Iqbal and I say, what does this mean? And he gives me his opinion. Then I come to Brother Abdul and he gives me his opinion. Then I come to Brother Abbas and then he gives me his opinion. That's 3 different opinions I've got on one verse. Now, at best, 2 of them are going to be wrong. Let's say, for example, if me and Brother Siraj, we're friends. Now, if I have got a bad opinion about Siraj, or let's say, for example, if I think in my heart, oh, Siraj, he's a very arrogant person, and he knows that I think this, regardless of we're friends, when I speak to him, he's not going to want to know me. In the same way, if we've got wrong beliefs regarding Allah, he knows that we've got wrong beliefs regarding him. So why is he going to want to know us? So what we have to do is, first of all, so their good deeds are wasted due to defects in their knowledge. So just imagine that if a person has been worshipping for 50 years and he doesn't know the 3 fardh of ghusl, now he's going to come on the day of resurrection and he's going to be thinking, I've got 50 years of worship, I should be okay on this day. But he comes to the scale and then he's got 50 years of sins. And he's going to be scratching his head thinking, how did this happen? But let's say, for example, let's break it down. Let's say, for example, if we've been working for a company and we've been putting away £1,000 every single month. And we've been saving, and it's been 10 years now. We've had this money saved up. And now we come to the bank and we want to buy a house now. So we're expecting that we've got about £100,000 in our account, and we put our card in and we're in minus £10,000, that person's going to faint. We're all going to faint if that happened to us. Now, if that's in dunya, we would faint. What's going to happen on that day? We would faint in dunya. We've been working 10 years now. Now, it's very easy to come over this hurdle, but the problem is a lot of people, they've got arrogance. And they don't want to submit to a teacher. They think, I know what I know, that's fine. I have to protect myself, so I'll just go off my own opinion. But like I said, if we all closed our eyes now and I asked everyone to put their hands up and point to north, everyone would be pointing in different directions. And now we think that we can, from our own interpretations, we can go off hadith and we can go off Quran ayats. It's going to be disastrous. Now, there is, like I said, there is a very easy solution for this, but many people will not take the solution. They'll think that I know best, or they'll think that it's okay. They'll be lethargic in their attitude. Now, the solution for this is in this next picture. The clues in the next picture. I'm going to give you another minute or so to go over it, and then I'm going to ask. Bear in mind, I'm going to give a clue. Bear in mind, where they've gone wrong is lack of basic knowledge and wrong beliefs regarding Allah. So focus on them 2 things. this time I'm going to pick on someone because some people are not doing what they're supposed to. Now, Brother Abdul Rahman, you've been quiet in that corner, hiding behind the brother. Now, what do you think is the solution for this?
I think maybe first he has to admit he doesn't know, and then has to go and seek knowledge, preferably maybe from a teacher.
Okay, but what type of knowledge? Would
The basics that he needs, the basic knowledge, not the bread and butter of maybe the prayer and aqidah, maybe not the high level hadith studies, etc.
Okay, who agrees with him? Okay, who's got something opposite to that? Can you go to Brother Rasib, please?
Basically learn off the teacher. Akidan fiqh.
Yeah, you've got it in one. You both got the same answer, but Brother Rasib was in more depth. We need to learn fiqh and aqidah, but we need to go to a scholar and learn it. It's not going to take a long time. With max in 2-3 hours, or in maximum 1 day it can be done. But we can have this lethargic attitude where we think that, oh, it's okay, Allah is the most merciful. But again, imagine if we had wrong thoughts about our friend who's human, what about Allah? If we have wrong thoughts regarding him and wrong beliefs regarding him. So again, many people have fallen at this hurdle, but we've jumped it. Now, we've gone over this hurdle, and now we've come to the next hurdle, where many other people fall as well. And this is the hurdle of abandonment. Now, I'm going to ask a brother who's going to... Brother Qamar, what do you think this is?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Basically being alone and not knowing what to do.
Okay, no.
No?
Anybody else? Mustafa, what do you think?
Do you mean as in he's abandoned?
Yeah, he's
I'm
abandoned.
trying to think. Yeah, he's
who's he abandoned?
I'm trying to think. But is he abandoned? Like true teaching, scholars, teachers.
So we're on the path to Allah.
Yeah.
So who would he abandon?
So he's abandoned Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are people who abandon Allah. They worship Allah, but after a while they abandon Allah by turning to their old ways. There's 3 types of people here. There's the first people, they abandon Allah by turning to their old ways. And this is majority of the time, this is due to being tested and going through difficulties. They think that people have the misconception that they think that when they come to the path of Allah that everything's going to be easy and it's just going to be a nice ride. But if you look at the seerah, you will see that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went through test after test after test. Allah will test your sincerity. So this is the first set of people that abandon Allah, is that they turn to their old ways due to difficulties and tests. Then there's the second type of people that abandon Allah, and they turn due to temptations. They turn to their old sinful ways. For example, friends are calling them, or they're getting tempted by women again, or drugs again, or whatever their temptation may be. They're getting tempted again, and they go towards that, and they abandon Allah. And whatever good they have earned, they lose it by committing sins. Then there's the third type of people, is that they want peace. They come to the path of Allah because they want to find peace, but like they didn't find pleasure straight away in the sinful life, they're not going to find pleasure straight away in the deen life. The Mashaykh mentioned that it's like a tree. That it's like, let's say for example, we have an apple seed and we plant it, we water it, we look after it for 2 weeks, we just about see the stem going and we pull it out. And then after 2-3 weeks again, we'll get another apple seed, we'll put the seed in the ground, we'll water it, we'll look after it for 2-3 weeks, and then what will happen is when we see the stem growing, we will pull it out again. And this will continue for all their life. But this person will never taste the sweetness of their iman. They'll never taste the fruits. Only when the apple tree grows and the fruits grow will you be able to have the apple and taste the sweetness. It takes time, just like it took time on the other path. Now, many people have fallen again at this hurdle. But how do we successfully come over this hurdle? Now, again, I'm going to give a clue. This is a bit difficult, this one. So I need the masterminds to get this one. Now, I'm going to give you a minute, and the clue is a lighthouse.
Stunned silence.
Think of the storm. Now I'm going to ask someone.
Dr. Hakim Saab, mastermind.
Yeah, Dr. Hakim Saab.
I'm lost. Abandonment. The way I see it is probably returning to the teacher, the sheikh, the guide.
Okay, mashallah. Who agrees with him? Okay, so not many people. So, Brother Zubair, please. Brother Zubair, please.
Yeah.
No, you got something to say?
No, it's on my side, yeah, I agree. It's following the leader.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The lighthouse for me is telling us that no matter what happens, how the seas are, you remain and do whatever you've got to do, what you've been put out there for, and be truthful and, keep going to your ultimate destination.
You've got it in one there. Uncle Ramzan, the mastermind. That's right, steadfastness and patience. See, the lighthouse represents the Sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. No matter how hard the storms become, we do not leave the Sunnah. As we already seen on the actual book, it's called the Beacon of Light. So that's a bit cheesy, but I thought I'd add it in. Now, what about the storm? The storm represents patience, and soon the storm will go regardless, and the storm does not last forever. So we have to make sure that we weather the storm and we continue. Now again, many people will fall at this hurdle, and we have to come over this hurdle as well. Now then we come to the last hurdle, and this is a hurdle that many people they cross, but a lot of people they fall as well. And this is the hurdle of self-reliance. Now who can tell me what the picture represents? Brother Abbas.
It looks like somebody who's put themselves at the top.
Okay. Okay, mashallah. Anybody else? Any brother? Bear in mind the actual name of the hurdle says itself.
Assalamu alaikum. It's basically a hierarchy of just me.
Yeah. So basically, this person, he's reliant on him. He thinks that he's reliant on himself to get himself into Jannah. They do good deeds with sincerity, but they rely on their own good deeds to get them into paradise. These people, they suffer because they make all that effort and they fall at the last hurdle. So imagine all they have to do is cross the line, and they trip over the shoelace and land down, and they just don't get back up. Now, this is also a form of arrogance because this is what Shaitan thought. He thought that I'm reliant on myself. He thought that I've done all these good deeds, I deserve this, I've done everything. Now, it's very foolish to have this mentality because when we get ill, we run to the doctor. And when we got financial problems, we run to the accountant, but we think that our own good deeds are going to get us through that day on the day of judgment. Now, again, many people do fall at this hurdle. So what the solution I'm going to give in the next picture, which is a person praying with his hands up. So I'm going to give you a minute again, and I want you to discuss in your partners what this solution would be and how we could successfully come over this hurdle. Okay, now who's got an answer? Put your hand up. Okay, Brother Majid, can you come to Uncle here, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
He's done his work and he's asking help for Allah to give him a right path.
Okay, who can agree with that? So basically he's asking help from Allah. Okay, so who's got something other than that? Okay.
So, what me and this brother was saying was, obviously he's done the good a'mal and, he's made the effort, but now he has to rely on Allah 100%. He has to say, look, oh Allah, you're the one who can give me the success that I need.
Yeah, mashallah. So if a person is self-reliant, if the hurdle is self-reliance, then the solution would be obviously to rely on Allah. So these people, they hope and they rely on Allah to get through this hurdle. So now we've come over many hurdles to try to, as long as we're running, then inshallah we will reach praiseworthiness. Now we've come over over the other hurdles. We started off with the hurdle of ignorance, which was we had to find the purpose, which was our ultimate aim, the pleasure of Allah. Then we came to the hurdle of blameworthiness, which we had to adopt the means and strive. Then to the hurdle of minor shirk, which the solution was sincerity. Then the hurdle of the unknowledgeable, which was to learn basic fiqh and aqidah. Then the hurdle of abandonment, which was to remain steadfast and patient. Then we came to the hurdle of self-reliance, which was reliance and hope in Allah. Now, this is where we have to be, and now we know that we know a lot of brothers, they come up with these answers themselves. I did not give it to them. So we have the confidence, we know that if we do come into a hurdle, when we are out of Itekaf, we somehow, if we sit there and we reflect, we can come out of the hurdle. It's not that we just suffer and like the first picture, we just lie down and just give up. So that's it. If there is any questions, we have a few minutes for that.
Maybe not now, but I've got a question. I'm going to ask this question. Do you know these which you mentioned from the beginning? Those are guided who Allah wills and those are misguided. So I need explanation for that.
Okay.
So that's what, maybe not.
Yeah,
now,
maybe we can go to one of those thoughts.
And the other one is that, we always use pictures of Western, we always use pictures of Western people. Generally in Muslims, wherever there are bad things and etc. and others, I found not just in this district, generally in the Facebook and others. So we need to, I don't know why we don't think Muslims are bad. There are many of them worse than others. So we need to use pictures appropriate to reflect this.
Jazakallah.
Is there any other questions? So the category of praiseworthiness, the people who avoid all the other 6 categories, they reach the category of praiseworthiness, which is where we want to be.
Inshallah, I think we'll call it a wrap. So big jazakallah to Ustaad Shaban for delivering what was an extremely engaging topic, mashallah. And as promised, we've concluded just before 5:30, so you've got rest time between now and Asr, so you're fresh and ready, inshallah, for the evening sessions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.